So guys, you're probably wondering why I'm not wearing a shirt. So this video that I'm getting ready to put out is something that I've been doing for some time. I work out in the elements anyway, so it helps me for that. And when I go camping, the more you're out in the elements that you're going to be subjecting yourself to, the more you condition your body for it. Now this isn't something you want to just immediately just jump into anywhere. A lot of this stuff that I do is at home, as you're going to see here in a little bit. So the video here is titled Cold Weather Conditioning. I condition my body for the cold weather by actually subjecting myself to the cold temperatures, because if you constantly are in a heated area, it will be a shock to your system. Your system doesn't know how to regulate the heat for your body. And this is probably why me and Justin differ so much, is because I work out in these elements and I do this cold weather conditioning. Now this isn't for everybody, that is for sure. This is something you want to start doing in the fall. This even works for the heat, for hot weather conditioning, the exact opposite way. You'll notice, at least I do, that when the first cold snap comes in and it's 60 degrees, that's cold. When it's been 100 degrees every day, 60 degrees will feel cold. And right now it's 20 something, and this feels about like it probably would if it was 60 degrees to me. So this is how I do it. There's snow out here right now. I'll show you some of that here in just a little bit. It's beautiful, absolutely great. This isn't something your body can sustain for long periods of time. You definitely don't want to just sit out here and do this forever. The more moisture in the air obviously affects it. And you want to have a backup plan. You don't want to just sit out here and freeze until you're shivering and shaking, which you may have seen in one of my other videos when I had just woke up from a nice warm bed, because that instant shock from warm to cold will do that to you. What else can I add in here? Oh, like I was just saying, have a safety net. Don't just go out here and subject yourself to it and not have warm fire or be able to go back in your house. As I said, I'm gonna have some other videos showing me doing the cold weather conditioning inside inside my house, and also just around the house. So hope you look forward to this. I hope you gain some insight or knowledge into cold weather conditioning. Like I said, it's not for everybody. Please don't think I'm nuts, because this is how I do it. This is how I condition myself for the cold. There are some people that even take it further and do cold weather swims, and I haven't got enough nerve to do that yet, because once you add water to the equation, getting dry as soon as you get out, definitely, this shock to the body can cause heart attacks in some people. So you got to know your health. Definitely don't do this if you're completely new to it. Don't subject yourself to this shock in the coldest day you could find. You want to work yourself into it from the fall on up to winter. But anyway, I hope you look forward to it. Let me know what you think. So guys, as I probably stated earlier, it's like 20 degrees out, and got this great idea. I was going to take my kids on a little hike. It's not a big one, nothing really big, so nothing to worry about per se, but you know how it is. Kind of had to, well, looks like a little man back there, but that's my daughter. Kind of looks like a midget. You look like a midget, don't you, Brookers? So anyway, the things you'll do for your kids. Did you say there's a beaver back there?
There's beavers eating the tree branches back here.
Yeah.
Looks like
They must have moved back in, because they all moved out, not too long ago.
Yeah.
Still got my son in the back. You can see him peeking his head out.
Dad, I see
They're having fun. My wife didn't want me to bring him out. This is cold, but it's an experience. And I truly believe that your body, over a period of time, creates a slight tolerance to temperature differences. Because you'll notice in the summer, once winter is over, and your body hits, 70 degrees, or the temperature outside hits 70 degrees, and you're instantly like, this is so hot. But then you grow a tolerance to that, and by the time the temperature starts hitting, 100 degrees, then that's hot to you. And the same goes for winter, or at least it does for me. The first time it gets cool, even down in the 60s, I'm like, wow, it's a little cool. And then the temperature has to completely just keep changing to get colder and colder. But I tend to just kind of bear it, at least at the beginning of winter, like I'm doing now, because I don't feel that cold, to be honest with you. I'm hiking, so builds up the heat a little bit, and I'm normally warmer anyway. But that way, even when I'm sleeping, in my hammock, my wife thinks I'm freaking nuts for sleeping in my hammock when it's this cold with just a blanket. And she doesn't quite understand that she sits inside all the time and has a normal temperature, and when it varies from that temperature, she gets cold pretty easy. But there's my rant on cold and hot, and conditioning your body for those conditions. So guys, another way that I go about conditioning myself is right here in the shower. I'll go ahead and take my shower like I normally do, or sometimes I'll just take a fairly cool shower, then go ahead and switch the water. Woo! Dang! Woo! Yeah! That cold water definitely gets you thinking. It'll kind of get your body into shape for, let's say, if you fall in the water. Nice cold icy water. Taking a nice warm hike, Then you fall in that cold water. Last thing you want to do is take a deep breath, but that's what your body's going to tell you to do. But if you condition yourself right here in the shower with this nice cold water, your body's going to know what to do. So I'll show you some other ways to condition your body. Another way that I condition myself is, in the morning, I don't even take the time to get dressed, so I can go ahead and heat up the wife's car. Yeah, I'm barefoot. It will be cold at first, trust me. Another thing I do is lay all sprawled out with no blankets all night until at least at some point I get chilled enough that I need one. Will you turn it back on and turn it off? So, just another way that I do to condition cold. You ever play that game when you were a kid or younger, or at least in high school, called Freeze Out? Well, this is it. Whenever you want to up the ante of Freeze Out, you go ahead and crank down the controls. Yeah, way down. Obviously, if you end up getting too cold, go ahead and roll the window back up, crank the heat up a little bit to knock the chill off, because we don't want to get frostbite doing this. Kind of gives you the factor of wind chill real fast. I did want to point out another thing that this will really show and teach you is, even when you're sleeping in, let's say, a wool blanket and things like that, the importance of how your body reacts. If you were to sleep, let's say, with your arms above your head like this is a lot of heat loss you're losing right here. So you don't want to do that unless you're trying to vent out heat. This will make you fairly cold. So you want to take and huddle in your arms like this when you sleep. This helps a lot. You know, keeping it close to your core. Your arms are going to help heat your core as you sleep. The same thing, it's like a baby position too you can do to help out too, is to pull your knees up closer to your body. That's the I don't know exactly what the wording is for that, but it's a natural position for the body to help hold the heat close to its core. You definitely don't want to do anything like this until you start shivering, because at that point you need to get warm. So it's beautiful out here. Loving the snow. Told you I was going to get you a shot of all that. The river's just down there. I'll go down there in just a second and I'll show you that. I love this time of year. It just really just makes everything just pop. Gives you a real visual, way better visual of things and how the topographical landscape is compared to when there's so much foliage on. So this is also something I want to point out, that you only want to subject yourself to this type of environment for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Your body cannot sustain the heat levels it needs to keep warm for much longer than that, because eventually your core will lose it, or not your core, I'm sorry, but your outer skin will lose the heat. It won't be able to, your core won't be able to keep up with it. The wind will definitely whip it away. It's not much different than having a wool shirt on, a lot of wind, and the wind will just pull that heat right out of that wool. So that's why it's important to have a waterproof type layer over top of that when it gets definitely cold enough out. Alright guys, I just want to finish up this video here to tell you, you know, anybody could try this. Definitely, like I said in the beginning of the video, take all your precautions. You want to start doing this in the fall. If you have any questions, just refer back into the video or ask me. Definitely not a professional per se. This is just something that I do. It's just from my own research per se, so you may want to research this yourself a little bit more. It's not for everybody, but definitely everybody can at least do something to help out a little bit more to help their body acclimate. So be safe. You can get frostbite definitely over extreme periods of time in extreme temperatures. It doesn't get much lower than the teens here, and like I said, take care guys.